Hi Scorpio and crosswalkers, how are y'all doing today? Today I'll be doing a reading for the sign of Scorpio, Sun, Moon, Rising Venus, Mercury, Mars, whatever placements you may have in your chart, whatever's been resonating with you as of late. This is a reading for August and September of 2020. In my description box, you can find my email. If you'd like to schedule a personal reading with me, please feel free to reach out to me so we can do that. You can also find my Instagram if you want to give me a follow. Go ahead and do that. If you want to give my friend Brie a follow, she designed the art for this channel. If you want to see what she's working on, feel free to give her a follow. You can also find a couple different links to a couple different playlists I've made on Spotify. I really like making playlists because I love music. So if you're interested in what I listen to or you want to find some new music, feel free to check those out. So Scorpio, how have y'all been feeling? Been trying to tap into your energy so I could do this reading today. Been thinking about y'all. Scorpio. Scorpio. I hope y'all have at least been enjoying Leo season. I know it's fellow fixed sign energy. I don't know, I'm like not tapping into anything. That's really strange. I can't pick up on anything. I can't even remember what your last reading was about, what we talked about. It feels like so long ago. Any messages for Scorpio, Sun, Moon, Rising, Venus, Mercury, Mars, for the months of August and September of 2020. Messages for Scorpio. Messages of love, truth, healing, light, clarity, forgiveness, hope, adjustment, transition, change. That's the only one that didn't flip back over, so I'm going to take it. Oh, and it's the Two of Swords. Yep, so far we have the Magician reversed and the Two of Swords. Messages for Scorpio. Messages for Scorpio. I think I might pull the rest of these. Wow. Yeah, a lot of the same cards have been coming out for a lot of these readings. That's interesting. Yeah. Alright. So we have the Empress as your overall energy, Scorpio. And then we have the Magician reversed, the Two of Swords, the Six of Swords reversed, the Six of Wands reversed, the Judgment card, and the Strength card. I'm picking up on Libra energy. I'm picking up on Leo energy, Virgo, Gemini, Mercurial energy. So to start off with the Empress, I think that you're going through a period of new growth, new flourishing, new transition. You're stepping into this new period of, there's a moth and it's probably gonna fly in front of the camera. Moths love my room. Anyway, so I think you're stepping into this new period of growth and like I'm thinking about like a flower like starting to bloom. Something starting to be budding and flourishing. I think you're stepping into a period of new growth, new beauty, kind of like cracking yourself open and like coming out of the cocoon phase maybe. In a way, you're stepping into a more authentic version of yourself. You're stepping into a new version of yourself. You're starting to open yourself up and appreciate the beauty in the world, appreciate the beauty in yourself. Step into a more creative energy, a more open-mindedness, a more open heart. I feel like you're opening yourself up to new possibility, new opportunity. You're really growing. You're really growing. And I think it has a lot to do with, there's going to be a decision that you're going to have to make soon. I think with the Magician reverse, it could speak about you've been struggling with communication. You've been struggling with expression. You've been struggling with manifesting what it is you want. Maybe you've been manifesting the wrong things or manifesting things for the wrong reasons. I think you've been struggling to clearly express what you really want and what you're trying to bring in for yourself. I think you've been having trouble with communication. Maybe you've been having some kind of trouble with a Gemini or a Virgo. Yeah, I'm getting a lot about like struggling to communicate. Clouded judgment, maybe? Maybe you feel like you don't have all the tools you need right now to get what you want, to go after what you want, to bring in what you want. And then the Two of Swords comes in, and it's like, I think you're being presented with a decision of some sort, or I think this could speak a lot about this whole feeling of not being able to express yourself. You're feeling like you can't communicate what you really want or need. You're having trouble with that. You're struggling with that. And I think it has a lot to do with like self-imposed restriction, like self-imposed limitation. I feel like you've put this blindfold on yourself and you're convincing yourself that like you're restricted and you don't have power or control over this situation. I think you've put this blindfold on yourself to prevent yourself from having to communicate or make a decision. I think you're holding yourself back in ways that you don't realize. And I think it has a lot to do with your, either this could have a lot to do with you struggling and refusing to move on from something, you having trouble really truly moving on from something and moving on to the next phase of your life, you struggling to leave something behind. Or this could speak about, this is a very personal transition, this is a very personal journey that you're going on. I think this really is like, you're seeing the struggle that you're having with communication, and you're struggling to take your own blindfold off and set yourself free from these limits you placed on yourself and truly move on. But either way, this is some communication that you're struggling with, some expression that you're struggling to express, and it has to do with this very personal like transition that you're going through, this very personal journey that you're going through. But I think this could really speak about like, this is happening, you feel so restricted because you yourself are choosing to be in this place, and it's because you're refusing to move on. It's because you're refusing to move forward after something happened. You're refusing to let something go and leave it in the past. And it's leading you to feel unsuccessful. It's leading you to feel like you're not able to reach your goals, like you're not able to reach this milestone that you're trying to reach. It's making you feel like ashamed, like you don't want to be in a public space, you don't want to be in the public eye because there's so much that you're struggling to do. You don't want to be in a public place because you can't even communicate clearly. You don't want to have to speak to people because you don't know how you feel or what you want to say. You're struggling to make a decision and decide about how you want to move forward. You're struggling to move on from something, and maybe there's like some shame that has to do with that, and that's why you're not putting yourself in the public right now, because this is a very personal journey that you're going through, a very personal transition that you're trying to work through. I'm seeing a lot of struggle, a lot of internal struggle coming from this. But with the overall energy, the Empress, it speaks about growth. It speaks about growth. And you know what? Despite this struggle, I think this is still a journey that you're on and you're learning from it. And this mini setback, this thing that maybe feels like some kind of failure, is pushing you forward. I think this growth that the Empress is expressing, this growth that the Empress is representing, is you struggling to communicate, you setting restrictions on yourself, you refusing to move forward, and it's making you feel like, I don't want to say it's making you feel like a failure, but it's making you feel like you're not successful. It's it's making you feel like you can't reach success, like you can't move forward and gain success. You don't want to be in the public right now because you're struggling to figure out how to fix this. And I think that this thing that's going on is what you are growing through. I think you're starting to come out of this, and you're going to grow through it. I need some clarification though. Can I get a clarification for the Magician reverse for Scorpio? Clarification for the Magician reverse for Scorpio. It's interesting that the first card was like struggle to communicate and express, but it's like that's exactly what is happening to me right now, trying to get these messages across. It's like I'm struggling to express the messages of this reading. Can I get a clarification for the Magician reverse for Scorpio? Clarification for the Magician reverse. The Chariot reversed. Yeah, I think that not only are you struggling to communicate and manifest what you want, it's like this may be because you feel directionless, you feel unmotivated, you feel like you don't know where you're headed, you don't know what direction you want to go in. Yeah, I'm getting that from this too, like you feel stuck and like you can't make a decision because you don't know what direction you're moving on in. You're like, I want to move forward from this, but in what direction? Where am I going? And I think the Chariot reverse speaks a lot about like lack of motivation, lack of drive, lack of desire to move forward, but also like it could also speak about like a recklessness of moving forward where you don't know where you're going and the wheels are spinning out and you know you lose a wheel and then you're off track and you totally went off course. And I think you're struggling to communicate because you don't have the motivation right now. You're struggling to manifest what it is you want because you don't know what it is you want. You don't know what it is you're moving towards. Maybe you don't want to move towards anything and you feel really restricted and just stuck. You feel stuck, like you're not moving forward at all. You're not moving at all. And you feel like a failure in some way. This could pertain to... I never try to box a reading into like this is about love or this is about career or this is about family. I think it could speak to a lot of different things. If it's career, it's very clear that you're struggling to figure out what it is you want to do and how to move forward and how to move on from something and move to the next phase of your life, and you're feeling like a bit of a failure because you don't know where you want to go or what you want to do right now. If this is pertaining to love, I think it's like you've struggled in the past with communicating your feelings. And it has to do with like restrictions you place on yourself where like you put a blindfold on yourself, you put a blindfold on your mouth, you don't know how to express how you feel. And it's like you don't know how to move on from this thing. You don't know how to move on from this past relationship, this past hurt, this past connection. And you're feeling really unsuccessful in dating and love right now because it's like I am going through so much of like me struggling to just understand how I feel within myself and then try to communicate it and then try to move on from it. Like, it's like you're working through so much. I think there's a lot of feelings you have that you just really don't know how to put into words and express to someone else, let alone even understand it for yourself. That's what I'm really picking up on. And then we have the Judgment card and the Strength card. I'm going to get a clarification for the Judgment card. Clarification for the Judgment card for Scorpio. Clarification for the Judgment card for Scorpio for August and September. The Lovers. Okay, so I think the Judgment card may be you coming to a sudden realization about how you are in love. This judgment is going to be some kind of like almost epiphany like, but it doesn't even have to be that strong. It could just be you finally starting to understand yourself and the ways you are in love. Understand how you are in relationships. Yeah. And I think it has to do with like you've been struggling to understand yourself and your feelings and how to communicate, and you've been struggling to move on from this thing. And I think it's you coming to this realization about how you are in love and maybe why you can't move on from this thing, why you're struggling to move on from this thing. And this realization has a lot to do with this growth that's coming in for you. You're growing as a person through your self-realization about how you are in relationships and love. It's giving you more understanding of self. I think this could also have to do with you have been judging yourself in terms of how you are in relationships. I think because of this way you've been struggling to communicate, the way that you know that you struggle to communicate your feelings, the way that you struggle to know what direction you want to go in, the way you struggle with having a stronger sense of self. I think this is you, like, you know, you've been judging yourself a little too harshly about how you are in relationships. You've been judging yourself when it comes to, oh, this is how I am in relationships, and I don't like that. I don't like that about myself. It's possible. I think this could also speak about you're having a sudden realization about what your values really are and how they are misaligned with people from your past. And I think that's going to help you in terms of moving on from this situation. Whether this has to do with love or career, I think this realization with the Judgment card is you realizing what your values truly are and how you want to align them. And that's going to help you realize, like, oh, I don't know why I'm struggling to move on from this person because we didn't have the same values in the first place. So I don't know why I'm still holding on to this. I don't know why I'm struggling so much with this. Yeah, but I think that the Judgment with the Lovers is like, I'm judging myself for how I am in love, and I'm trying to understand how I am in love. I'm trying to understand how I am in relationships, and I want to work through it and get better at it so that I don't feel so unsuccessful in this realm of relationships. And I think that's the period of growth that you're going to be stepping into. You are growing through your deeper understanding of yourself. You're growing through your deeper understanding of yourself when it comes to relationships. You're going through a period of growth when it comes to understanding that you struggle to communicate and why. That you're struggling to move on for something and why. It could be also that, you know, the universe is suddenly sending a new connection in to, like, boost you into, like, moving on from this last one. That's possible too. It could be that you were, like, struggling to make a decision about moving on from someone for a long time and feeling really unsuccessful and not like yourself and not feeling confident and good about yourself, and then all of a sudden a new connection comes in and it skyrockets you into moving forward and getting out of this funk. I feel like Scorpios have been in a funk for a while. I feel like Scorpios have definitely been in a funk of some sort. And it has, I see a lot of, like, refusal to grow and move on, refusal to, or, like, struggle to move on from something, struggle to really move forward, not feeling successful or confident, setting restrictions on yourself and not being able to break out of those chains you put on yourself, struggling to communicate. But I think there might be a new connection coming in that's, like, gonna suddenly put you into a space of realization about, okay, this is how I am in love, and I want to change this and be better and move on from this past, so why don't I go for it and try this new thing and see where this connection goes. Maybe this is like a test from the universe or a calling from the universe to move into a new period of my life. And with the Strength card, it has a lot to do with, like, I am strong, I am taming my emotions, I am in control of my emotions, I'm in control of myself and my actions, I'm in control of my reactions to things. It's like, I feel like, Scorpio, you set so many restrictions on yourself that you felt so not in control of your own actions and decisions and feelings, but it's like you have so much control over those things. You really do. If you want to move on, it's as simple as saying, right here, from here on out, I'm going to take action, deliberate action, to try to move on from this. I'm going to take deliberate action to start feeling better about myself and feeling more successful. I'm going to take deliberate action to turn this around and move forward into a new direction. I think this Strength card talks a lot about, like, you're gaining strength, you're gaining clarity, you're gaining confidence. This is a lot of Leo energy through you having a deeper understanding of self, through this growth period, maybe through this new connection that's coming in. It's giving you strength to keep going. This new spark is giving you strength to move forward and move on out of this funk. This started out really shaky, but it became really clear as it went on. And I think that it says a lot about what you're going through, Scorpio. Like, it was very confusing, and it's been very unclear, and very struggle to understand yourself, struggle to understand what's going on, and then it becomes very clear. Yeah, I'm going to pull 3 cards of advice for you, Scorpio. 3 cards of advice for Scorpio for the months of August and September of 2020. 3 cards of advice for Scorpio. And that was 4. 3 cards of advice for Scorpio. Ace of Wands, love it. That speaks about like new growth, new energy, a spark of motivation, a fire lighted within you, ready to like get going, get moving, get started on something new. This could also talk about a new connection you're coming into that sparks your interest, sparks your energy, sparks your sex drive, things like that. New ideas, new motivation, this drive to move forward. 2 more cards of advice for Scorpio. I'll take those. Yeah, wonderful. Ooh, and the Knight of Cups. Yeah, Scorpio, so the Ace of Wands, the 7 of Wands reversed, and the, wow, I'm struggling. The Ace of Wands, the 7 of Wands reversed, and the 9 of Pentacles. So definitely with the Ace of Wands, it's like this new spark coming in. It's really gonna like get things ignited for you. I think you're going to start to feel this fire burning within you that's going to really get you moving again. In general, like you have motivation again, you have a sense of clarity again, you have new ideas, you're feeling good and fiery and confident. It could be that you're coming into a new connection that sparks a fire in you. Yeah, definitely a very physical energy that's getting you moving. I'm going to pair it with the Strength card because it makes sense. Like you're gaining some strength and confidence again, and it's like you're really moving forward and quickly out of this funk. With the 7 of Wands reversed, I think it's talking about you need to let down your defenses and stop struggling and fighting so hard. I think sometimes we as people, not just Scorpios, we as people, we like struggle and fight and defend and like put all this energy into like trying so hard, but sometimes all it takes is us just letting go and stepping back and letting things happen for a minute. I think, Scorpio, you've been struggling so much like by trying so hard to make sense of things, to communicate, to make a decision, to move on, to all these things, but I think this is telling you to take a step back, let it go, loosen your grip, unclench your jaw, relax, and let things happen. Stop fighting so hard, stop struggling so hard, stop defending so hard to like try to make something happen or try to move on from something. And I think this is really just speaking about like letting the battle down, letting your guard down. And I think that will also help with maybe this new connection that might be coming in. Yeah. And with the 9 of Pentacles, you're going to be coming into some abundance soon. I think you really need to also look around and recognize and acknowledge that there is abundance all around you. You just have to acknowledge it. You may be struggling with a lot, but there's so much to be grateful about. Maybe you've worked really hard to get to a place of stability and abundance and you're not realizing it right now. Maybe you've come a really long way. You've come a really long way and you're not seeing it. You're only focusing on how you haven't fully moved on yet and how far you haven't yet gone. But I think you're struggling to see that. You're failing to see that you really have come a long way. You've gained so much for yourself. You worked so hard to get where you are. You created so much abundance for yourself, not just materially, but emotionally. Like, you've worked so hard to find this stability and peace within yourself. And I think you need to revel in that more and appreciate that more, and then step away from putting all your focus on where you're struggling and maybe start to focus on where you're succeeding and thriving. And I think that's how you'll grow. When you put more energy into what's working and what's going well for you, other things will start to fall in line and be good for you. Yeah. I really love this reading for you, Scorpio. There was a lot of great messages here. If you got anything out of this, please leave comments down below. I'd love to hear about it. Again, in the description box, you can find my email. If you'd like to reach out to me to schedule a personal reading, please feel free to do so. You can also find my Instagram. If you want to give me a follow, feel free to do that. You can also find my friend Bree's Instagram. She made the art for this channel, so if you want to see what she's working on, feel free to check out her Instagram. You can also find a couple different links to some playlists I made on Spotify, so if you're interested in finding some new music or you want to know what I'm listening to, feel free to check those out. Scorpio, I hope you enjoyed this reading. I hope you have a wonderful rest of your Leo season. I hope you have a wonderful Virgo season. I hope you find a way out of this struggle and this funk that you're in. I hope you find the growth that you're seeking, and I will see you in the next reading. Thank you for watching.